Hey guys, Cade here with Brewster Consulting Group. Today I'm going to be starting a three-part video series about data governance or enterprise data management. Now, we're going to start today by breaking down the components of data governance, what is included and covered by a data governance program, and what does that actually mean. We'll move on into next week where we'll talk about the structure of a governance program and how you can properly structure it to have success and drive value for your business. And then we'll move on to some tactical actions that you can take to build and roll out a data governance program in the final video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into today's video, which is what are the components that make up a proper data governance program. Okay, so let's get started with a definition of what data governance is. And I'm not going to read everything on this slide. This is a slide that we use with clients to kind of explain the process. I do believe you guys are probably perfectly capable of reading all the words on here yourselves. But what I do want to kind of illustrate for you is my own definition of what data governance is. And so the way that I would describe data governance in a simple way is it's the management of your data assets as an organization. So data is an asset for your organization, and data governance is how you govern and manage those assets effectively. And it's not about a specific technology or a specific practice or really anything specific, but it's more about a holistic, overarching approach to how you manage your data assets to keep them secure and to get as much value for your business as possible out of your data assets. Now, with that being said, there are some really important components of a good data governance program. So one is your data integrations. Data integrations are how are all your systems talking to each other? How are you moving data between your systems in a data warehouse? How are you effectively moving data around throughout the organization? So data stewardship is another key component. Data stewardship is a concept that is focused on business ownership around the data. So you'll hear me use the term functional data stewards in this video, and what that means is representatives of the business who really understand the data from those business lines. So I'll give you an example. If you work for a financial institution that has a pretty big mortgage servicing department and a pretty big servicing portfolio, you need people from both servicing, you need people from escrow, you need people from default operations, you need people from all of these different areas inside of mortgage servicing who really understand not only their business processes, but the data and the systems and how they do things to play a role in your data governance program. Because if you don't tie back what you're doing at a governance level to the really granular view of how the business uses the data, you're going to miss a lot of value and you're going to miss a lot of opportunity to build your data structure the right way. So having data stewardship or business representatives involved in what you're trying to do from a governance perspective is very important. So metadata management is another component. Metadata, if you don't know, is basically data about the data. So an example of metadata is the file size, right? You have a file. If you go to like File Explorer on your computer, you have files in there, and then you can look at the size. How big is it? That's a piece of metadata, right? It describes the actual data itself. And so metadata fields can often be like, what system did it originate from? What table did it originate from? Things like that. And so essentially metadata management is often just like the monitoring within your environment to make sure that you don't break anything downstream, right? So make sure that you have proper change control, make sure that you have, development, test, and production environments where you're properly testing everything and making sure that you're not going to break stuff, because there can be instances where, say, like if you're a complex organization with a lot of systems, maybe you decide that you want to add a custom field or you want to repurpose a field that's not being leveraged to do something else. But then what that does is it changes the way you use your data, and then that data will flow downstream, and it might break something like how the data from your mortgage origination system loads into your general ledger, right? Like that can happen. I've seen that happen just because somebody decided they were going to change a custom field that they didn't think was being used. And so metadata management helps you effectively monitor everything that you're doing as an organization from a data perspective. It helps you make sure that you have proper change control. It can be a little administrative, but it goes hand in hand with the next thing that is a part of data governance, which is master data management and a catalog. And so I'm going to break that into two parts. First, the catalog. So data catalog is just basically a data dictionary. So it's a catalog of all of the data you have in the organization. A good data dictionary has a minimum of 3 components. The data point or metric itself, what is it? The business definition, meaning what does it mean to a business? And then the technical definition. The technical definition is this is how we calculate it. So we take this field from this table, from this system, and we divide it by this field from this table from this system, and that gives us like this metric. That would be an example of the technical definition. So it would be for the people who are in the weeds actually building this stuff. This is how we actually like calculate it. But it's important that you have both pieces. Like it's really important that you have both the business definition and the technical definition, because you have to be able to relay business understanding to the people who aren't technical. You have to connect those dots together effectively. So that's why that's really important. Data quality, obviously, how do you have a data quality program? How do you monitor your data quality? How do you make sure that it's good? Security and compliance. This is big, especially in like healthcare and financial services, but it's really big everywhere. You should always be concerned about the security of your data, but how do you make sure that if there are regulatory requirements or if you have certain data protection standards, make sure that you're following those and make sure that you have appropriate security on your data. Warehousing and architecture. So this is just about how do we build a technical environment that is going to support what we're trying to do from a data governance perspective. And then the final piece, and this is kind of what everybody thinks of when they think about data, is the reporting and analytics, right? Because the reporting and analytics is where a majority of the end users are actually going to interact with this whole process. It's kind of the output, so to speak, the product that is produced through all of this. And then that product should drive business outcomes if you do it effectively. But as you can see from this slide, there is a lot of things that come into play all throughout the rest of the process to make sure that when you get to the reporting and analytics end, you're delivering high quality product that's going to drive value for the business. Now, let me make one clarifying point before we go on. All of this can be a little bit overwhelming. This is not to say that you cannot do good reporting and analytics without doing this, right? The problem is, especially for larger organizations, the larger you get, the more systems you have, the more different data sources you are using, it all gets convoluted. It gets confusing. It gets mixed up. You start to get inaccuracies because one department is reporting this data, excuse me, and then another department is reporting this data, and it's supposed to be the same thing, but they're reporting different metrics, right? And so the larger you get, the more complicated you get, the more complicated your business model is, the more data sources you have, you only get more and more, there only becomes more and more of a need for an effective data governance program, right? Like if you are a 25 employee business with 2 data sources, you probably don't need to worry about all this. Some of it, you can do some best practices around it, right? But you don't need to build this super robust data governance program. But if you're a financial institution that's if you're a $20 billion plus financial institution, which really isn't that big in the financial services world, you're probably getting fairly complex, and you probably do need a robust data governance program. Hopefully that was helpful in laying out what the components of a good data governance program are. I hope that was informative. Like I said, this is the first of a 3-part video series. I'll be back early next week with details on how you can start to effectively execute a data governance program in a way that is going to actually drive value for the business and isn't just going to make it feel like an administrative burden. So please stay tuned for that. If you like this video, if you want to know about the next video, go ahead and like this video, comment if you have any questions, and then hit that subscribe button. That subscribe button will allow you to be notified when our next video in the series comes out. Appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you.